Friedrich Nietzsche's Apollonian and Dionysian forces. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most influential philosophers of the 19th century, introduced the concepts of Apollonian and Dionysian forces in his seminal work, The Birth of Tragedy. These concepts, named after the Greek gods Apollo and Dionysus, represent two opposing yet complementary forces that shape human experience, art, and culture. And Nietzsche's exploration of these forces offers profound insights into the nature of creativity, the human psyche, and the balance between order and chaos. This video delves into Nietzsche's ideas, examining the origins of Apollonian and Dionysian forces, their manifestations in art and culture, and their relevance to understanding human existence. Friedrich Nietzsche introduced two powerful forces that shape human experience: the Apollonian and the Dionysian. These concepts are named after two Greek gods, Apollo or Apollonian and Dionysus or Dionysian. Apollo represents order, harmony, beauty, logic, calmness, and individualism, which symbolizes the human desire for structure, reason, and perfection. Like a serene sculpture or a well-organized society. Similarly, Dionysian represents chaos, emotion, passion, instinct, intoxication, and collective energy, which symbolizes the wild, untamed side of life. Think of ecstatic music, wild festivals, or raw creativity that breaks all rules. Nietzsche argued that these two forces are constantly at play in art, culture, and human behavior. While the Apollonian seeks control and clarity, the Dionysian embraces chaos and primal energy. True creativity, he believed, arises from the tension between these opposites. Nietzsche explored the contrasting qualities of the Greek gods Apollo and Dionysus, using them as symbols to explain opposing forces in human life. He proposed that Apollonian and Dionysian qualities exist everywhere, in individuals, cultures, and art. Apollonian qualities inspired by Apollo represent order, harmony, logic, and calmness. Dionysian qualities inspired by Dionysus represent chaos, emotion, passion, and instinct. Nietzsche argued that these opposing forces are psychological and cultural. They alternate in dominating the human mind, shaping how we think, create, and behave. For example, an individual might feel calm and rational, characterized by Apollonian at one moment, but emotional and impulsive, characterized by Dionysian at another. Similarly, cultures and art forms often reflect the blend of these two forces, some leaning towards structure and beauty that is Apollonian, and others toward raw emotion and spontaneity that is Dionysian. In essence, Nietzsche believed that the interplay between these forces is fundamental to human experience, creativity, and cultural development. Even artists and their creations can reflect either Apollonian or Dionysian qualities, as both Apollo and Dionysus are considered gods who inspire art. Apollonian art is plastic, structured, orderly, and visually harmonious like sculpture or classical painting. In contrast, Dionysian art is non-plastic, raw, emotional, and unrestrained, such as music or ecstatic arts. Nietzsche believed that the best art emerges from a balance between these two forces. He called this balanced art naive art, where Apollonian order and Dionysian chaos coexist harmoniously. For example, tragedies like those in Greek drama are prime examples of naive art because they blend the calm, structured storytelling qualities described as Apollonian with intense emotional experiences, the qualities described as Dionysian. This reconciliation of opposites not only produces the finest art, but also fosters the development of rich, dynamic cultures. In Nietzsche's view, the interplay of Apollonian and Dionysian forces is essential for both artistic excellence and cultural vitality. Nietzsche also connects Apollo and Dionysus to the behavior of individuals and groups or mobs. He explains that Apollo represents the individual, as individuals are often guided by Apollonian qualities like order, harmony, intellect, and self-control. In contrast, Dionysus represents the collective or mob, which is driven by Dionysian qualities such as passion, chaos, intoxication, and emotional intensity. When people are alone, they tend to act rationally and calmly, reflecting Apollonian behaviors. However, in a group or crowd, they often become more emotional, impulsive, and even chaotic, as if intoxicated by a shared energy. In such moments, individuals lose their personal identity and become part of a collective experience that feels mystical and overwhelming. Nietzsche attributes this shift to the dominance of Dionysian energy in groups. The collective, influenced by Dionysus, behaves in ways that seem mysterious and irrational, as if swept up in a shared ecstatic state. This Dionysian influence explains why crowds can act with such passion and unpredictability, creating a sense of mystical unity and rejection. Nietzsche also explores the concepts of dreams and illusions, connecting them to Apollonian and Dionysian forces. He distinguishes between real dreams, which is experienced during sleeping, and daydreams, are the fantasies while awake. Both types of dreams, according to Nietzsche, transport us to a world of perfection and completeness, unlike the imperfect world of reality. Nietzsche notes that Greek artists valued dreams more than reality. They believed that in their dreams they could see visions of the gods and goddesses they worshipped. For example, the god Apollo often appeared in their dreams, inspiring them to create art. These divine visions, experienced in the dream world, allowed Greek artists to depict deities with extraordinary beauty and precision. In this way, dreams, though not real, became a source of greater truth and inspiration for the Greeks than the imperfect, everyday world. Nietzsche suggests that this connection to the dream world enabled Greek artists to produce some of the finest art in history, as they drew from a realm that felt more vivid and meaningful than the reality itself. On the other hand, Nietzsche describes illusion as a fundamental aspect of human existence. He suggests that life itself is an illusion, much like a dream. Yet, despite this illusory nature, life remains meaningful. Nietzsche draws on the concept of the veil of Maya from Eastern philosophy to explain this idea. The veil of Maya represents the illusion that gives structure and purpose to our existence. Nietzsche aligns this concept with Plato's idea of life as an illusion, but adds that it is the veil of Maya that makes life bearable and meaningful. Without this illusion, he argues, the human world would collapse into chaos and perish. The veil of Maya allows for the presence of Apollonian qualities, order, harmony, beauty, love, and progress, which brings stability and meaning to life. However, Nietzsche also acknowledges that the veil of Maya is not always intact. At times it is torn apart, allowing Dionysian forces, passion, intoxication, madness, and destruction to dominate. This interplay between the Apollonian and Dionysian, mediated by the veil of Maya, creates the dynamic tension that defines human existence. Finally, Nietzsche discusses the origins of Apollo and Dionysus, tracing their emergence to the time before Greek civilization. He describes an earlier human race known as the barbarians, who lived in a wild and savage state. Their world was chaotic, marked by unrestrained sexual behavior and a lack of morality. Sexuality in their society was animalistic, with no rules or boundaries. The barbarians worshipped a savage deity called the satyr, a half-human, half-goat figure, symbolizing their barbaric way of life. However, some individuals grew tired of this chaotic existence and rejected the worship of the satyr. They sought a new way of life and created an image of a god who represented order, beauty, intellect, progress, and peace. This god, worshipped on Mount Olympus, became known as Apollo. On the other hand, those who continued to embrace the chaotic primal aspects of life began worshipping another god who embodied disorder, ugliness, passion, intoxication, destruction, and violence. This god became known as Dionysus. For the Greeks, Apollo represented the highest good, embodying all positive qualities, while Dionysus represented the highest bad, embodying negative qualities. However, Nietzsche argues that this division is not the end of the story. He believes that true progress and the creation of naive art and culture depend on the reconciliation of these opposing forces. The balance between Apollo or order and Dionysus or chaos is essential for achieving harmony and creativity in human life.